Hello, hey, I'm going to show you how I fill in the detail work of my Ink-Lique process with the marking pens. This is a piece I'm working on that I haven't really officially named, but I'm right now, for a lack of better names, just going to call it my Mexican tile quilt. And I'm doing this one in blocks. These are, I don't know, 18 inches in size, and I'm actually inking them before I quilt, before I put them together and quilt them. So what I want to show you is this area here that I'm going to fill in now with the navy blue ink, and I've already completed the yellow inking and the red inking. So I'm going to show you what I do to make this so nice and smooth. I'm going to take this Identa-Pen is a product that I recommend by Sakura, and it's a dual-ended marking ink. It's a pigment ink, and it's got a broad tip. I'll show you there. And in the other end, it's got a fine point. And I can show you there. And first I'm going to take the broad tip end of the pen, and I'm just going to generally fill in this diamond shape here next to the yellow and the red here. So I'm just going to block that in. And I stayed, I don't know, probably a 1/16 of an inch away from the two colors, and I'm going to take the fine point of that Identa-Pen, and I'm just going to very lightly tickle the contrasting color. Let me swap out pens. This one's kind of dry here. So I usually use two pens, one that I can, I just use two pens, so I'm not turning back and forth on the pen here. But you can see that I'm just slightly tickling the outline of that shape that I want to fill in. And I turn my work as I go here, just to give me the proper angle. I'm working on a large chipboard that my husband cut out for me, and I am doing the inking on this particular quilt before I quilt it. In my book Ink-Lique, I show you, or I teach you to quilt it and then ink it. Now I'm going to go back to the broad point of that Identa-Pen, and now I can just block in that entire area, filling it in to a nice solid color. And if I see any little white areas that I need to be cleaned up, I'll again use the fine point of that tip and just fill that in so it's nice and smooth and crisp and clean, and you see no feathering and no bleeding of the colors. So I'll move on to some more areas after this. Thanks for watching. Alright, I'm going to continue working on my Mexican tile quilt. I'm going to fill in this area with the navy blue. I've already done the inking of the golden yellow and the red here. So I'm just gonna, I already showed you how I did the little diamond areas, and I'm gonna work here next to this leaf shape, which is going to remain white, and this background here behind it is going to now be inked with the navy blue. So once again, I'm using the broad tip of the Identa-Pen, and I am just going to fill in with the navy blue here. And as I showed in the previous clip, I just stay slightly away from where I want to end up. In this case, you know, maybe, I don't know, 1/16 of an inch or whatever. But you don't want that that ink. You can see just, or I don't know if you can on the camera, but I can see just a very faint feathering of the ink, and I don't want it to bleed into the yellow. Here you can see this area here where it almost wants to go into the yellow, and I definitely want to avoid that. So I'm just kind of doing the general fill-in now with this dark ink, and I'll just continue to work and not say anything for just a few minutes. Doesn't take very long. Of course, my fabric has been prepared properly in the way that I describe in my Ink-Lique book, which is available on my website at www.sewfarsewgood.org, and that's SEW, F as in Frank, AR, SEWGOOD.org. And I really do have a very light touch on the pen. I don't want to spin, you know, set the pen down, because the ink will bleed. It doesn't matter how well you've prepared your fabric, it will bleed if you let it. And we want to avoid that. And I turn my work so that I'm right-handed, so I typically turn it so that I can see the edge on the left. Just do whatever's comfortable for you. As I said before, I'm working on a piece of chipboard that my husband cut out for me, and it just allows me to easily turn this work. I also have I'm sitting on my couch, you know, but sometimes I'll work it down in my studio on my table, and I do have a nice light that I work with. This happens to be a nice halogen type light. It helps a lot to that, and a good daughter who happens to be in the work in an optician's office, and can get me a nice strong pair of lenses when these old tired eyes need it. So I'm just blocking in that color, and I don't worry too much about filling it in entirely at this point, because I'm going to come back and clean that up.